Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to tell you some secrets of great and effective leaders. Now these are the people, who become CEOs of big companies, or they're the people who handle big businesses. So there are some leadership skills that they're trained on. They're not always like this. People become great and effective leaders after managing teams, after leading teams for quite a few years. And leaders get trained on all these skills. So I'm going to tell you all the skills of good leaders because these are the leaders I've observed and learned from. And in a good corporate organization, we give trainings, on these skills so that people can become better leaders and they can handle teams more effectively and they have a better decision-making power. Also, this will be helpful for you in two ways. One is if you are looking to manage a team effectively, you can, just hear out these qualities and these traits. And if you're already trained on it, great. And if you're not trained on certain qualities, then you can reach out to me. I'll talk about it at the end of the video. Or you can attend a training to develop that particular skill. And if you're an individual, let's say you're looking for a mentor or you want to learn from a good and effective leader, then it's very important for you to observe these qualities in people. So when I'm learning from someone like, from a CEO or a mentor, I want to make sure that the person first demonstrates these qualities. Then I know, okay, this person is going to teach me some very, very good things. So when you're learning also from people as an individual, try and see if they demonstrate at least some of these qualities and then talk to them, give them feedback. So for me, it's always been like this. I've always talked to my leaders and I've always given them feedback and they've given me feedback on these skills. So that's how we've kind of developed each other. So let's begin. First of all, a good leader always demonstrates integrity and ethics. So if a leader has strong integrity and has good values, good ethics, then they are bound to transfer that to their team members. So they are honest, fair, they have strong moral principles. Such leaders are trustworthy and dependable. I'll give you a small example. In my corporate career, all the good mentors, when I think about good leaders, I have never really had to worry on a project. So if a project comes to me, they tell me, okay, this needs to be done within this much timeline, okay, whether it's a training project or if I'm creating a curriculum. A good leader will tell me all the right things to do on a project. However, if let's say I'm confused about something and I don't know whether to be able to, make a decision in a particular situation. Now, a good leader who has good integrity and ethics, if you take their advice, they will give you the best advice. So I always walk up to my leaders and I ask them, sometimes what happens is if a client says something which we don't agree with, which we feel is not going to be good for the client or it's not going to be good for the company. So in that case, a good leader will always guide me as to how I can go and negotiate with the client. So it's very important to go with leaders who are honest, loyal. You will not feel very stressed out and they're very dependable people. So when you listen to them and a decision that they make, it is always to ensure that your reputation is safe, the company's reputation is safe, and the client's reputation is also safe. So yeah, integrity and ethics is the first thing I look for when I choose a mentor, or if you see any good leader, he or she will always have that. Then good leaders have a vision. They have a vision about the future. They know, okay, 5 years down the line where they want to take the company or what is the goal of their department. And they have a very strategic way of thinking. So they have a clear vision of the future. They look at the bigger picture. Any decision that a leader makes today is dependent on, they know that, okay, 5 years down the line, if I take this decision now and if we start working on this goal, our company is going to improve, our customers are going to be happier, my employees will be happier. So they develop goals and they also develop strategies to achieve those goals. So yeah, another quality to look for is vision. Somebody who has a vision, somebody who's good at decision making and strategic thinking. Good leaders always take accountability and responsibility of their decisions. It's so amazing to work with such leaders because they are so strong. So if they've taken a decision and they've asked me to work on a project which is based on their decision, and if anything ever goes wrong, they always take the accountability. Because as an employee, my job is to, kind of follow what they're telling me to do. Though they always allow me to cross question and discuss, but they always take accountability for whatever result comes out of it. So they take ownership of actions, whether the actions are positive or negative. Mostly good leaders, you will always see that the actions are usually for the improvement. But sometimes there are also situations when things go wrong. So in that case, as an employee, I'm very relaxed if I'm working with a good leader, because that person will not put the blame onto me, because that person knows that I was just doing my job. So that's one of the key characteristics. They will never get their subordinates into trouble. They always take ownership for their own decisions. So they are accountable. And if they make a mistake, they admit it and they are willing to learn from it. Because usually good leaders never go that wrong that, that decision is absolutely bad for the company. But even if sometimes there is a loss or anything like that, they will make sure that they learn from it and they, form another strategy or another goal to fix it. So that is a good learning for me also. That's what I've learned. Good leaders also have a lot of empathy and emotional intelligence. They care for their employees. I've always told you that in big corporate organizations, first we want to take care of the employee. If the employee is in good health, good mood, good shape, then that person will be very loyal. So a good leader believes in building relationships, and fostering a good working environment. Because if the environment is good, everybody wants to work effectively. Nobody wants to run away from work. Of course, unless you don't want to work, that's a different, ball game altogether. A good leader has very good communication skills. And when I say communication skills, it is not just about talking in English. Of course, they can speak in different languages, Usually in, as a global language, if you go to any reputed corporate organization, they will promote, the language of the client. For example, I work with clients globally, like people from the US, UK, and across the globe. So we have English as the common language, but I'm also allowed to speak in Hindi or any other language with my co-workers. So that's not a problem. But when we are talking to our client, we usually try to follow the client's communication style. But a leader's communication style with me will be, so good communication style of a leader means that the person can communicate his or her vision, expectations, and feedback clearly and effectively. So if you have a leader who's able to tell you their vision clearly, if you're confused about it, that means the person is not able to communicate it. So you talk about it. Good leaders have a very good way of communicating, what they expect from me as an employee and what their vision is. So I also know, okay, when I'm clear about what my leader expects from me in terms of my targets and my goals, then I want to be able to work better. Plus, they also listen very effectively, because communication is not just about talking. If you listen to people, you hear them out, you understand sometimes people don't even say the exact problem. Good leaders they're trained to identify what the real issue is. And then they, handle it accordingly. Okay, and good leaders are also very adaptable and flexible. I told you that even in the training department, we don't penalize people if, let's say, a person's cell phone rings or if somebody is late by 10 minutes. We obviously talk to them about it, because it's not a good behavior to demonstrate in a corporate organization, but we're also very adaptable and very flexible. And this comes from good leadership, because they've told us to see people as human beings first, before you start bombarding them with all your anger and your ego. We don't do that in a professional environment. So the ability to change and adjust leadership style in today's dynamic environment is one of the greatest traits of a good leader. A leader will have 10 different types of people who are unique in their own ways. Now, if he or she decides that, okay, I have one style of leading a team, then that person has a very fixed mindset. So a good leader doesn't do that. A good leader tries to adapt their style based on other people's styles, and that's how I've learned from them. So whenever I'm training people, I know that there are different types of people I'm training, so I will adapt my style according to theirs, because they're not the ones because I'm training them, right? They're not the ones who have to lead the team here. I'm trying to lead a team here, train people. So it's my job to be able to adapt and be flexible. Good leaders, they handle challenging situations much, much better than average leaders. Because there are challenges in a work environment, it'll be, impossible to operate without challenges. There are sometimes challenges. Sometimes the clients want the work to be done sooner, or sometimes, the employee cannot come to the office, or there are lots of different challenges, but we have to complete the work, within the given time frame and, within the given resources. So good leaders are always able to, have a style in which they're able to handle this challenging situation much better. And when they are able to handle this, they build a much better trust with the clients, the customers, and their team members. Good leaders are very courageous and very resilient. They why courageous? You might think that, okay, well, it's just, a company you're managing. Well, but even to make a decision, you have to be very courageous when you're making a difficult decision, and you have to be very resilient. What does resilient mean? It means the strength to cope up. So from a training perspective, I can tell you, like, sometimes we take decisions in terms of training. Like I was telling you, if I feel that, my training batch needs more motivation before I start training them, then I will first figure out like a session wherein I, play a game with them, and they start enjoying and opening up to me a little more. So once they're comfortable with me, that's when I start training. Now this is my courage to take a decision that, hey, instead of directly moving on to the topic or training them on this skill, I'm going to be courageous enough and, use that 1 hour to first get them to be comfortable with me, and then I will try and cover the rest of the topics in the best possible way. So you have to have the courage and the strength to take a decision on the spot, and that's what we're trained for. So courage doesn't mean that you just take random decisions. People are trained for it. What are some of the most positive decisions taken? What are some creative ideas, something that will, not harm the reputation of the person or the company or the customer? Is something that is very basic, and something that will keep everyone positive. So but it takes courage to take difficult decisions. Like I'm telling you, sometimes not training and just making people play a game is a very courageous decision, because people might think that, hey, she's not working, but that's not the truth. I am working. I know exactly how to make my trainees feel more positive and then make them learn. And resilience, obviously, it's very important in day-to-day work life or in personal life as well, that the ability to cope up. Because I have noticed that in a corporate, we work as a team. Everybody's a team player, so there's lesser jealousy. But when you go out in the world, and if you're leading a smaller corporate organization or two organizations are competing, then that whole jealousy just makes it really worse. So instead of that, a good leader just focuses on what is the market trend and what is the best decision for their company. It's really not about putting others down. Delegation and empowerment. Delegation, a leader will not do the work himself or herself. Then he or she is not a leader. Because if they're leading, means that they're actually delegating the work to the employees. So they know how to delegate the work effectively, based on different people's skill set. And when they're delegating the work, they're actually giving more responsibility to their team members. And the team members feel more empowered, that, okay, I can take on this responsibility. I have learned to work really effectively because of the amazing leaders I've had. They have trained me on the work that they were supposed to do. And then eventually I could do it. So life became easier for them and I became more skilled. So that's why it's very important to work under good leaders. Continuous learning. Leaders are committed to lifelong learning and development, and so am I. Because that's the culture I've seen. You are always learning, You stay updated with industry trends, then you have best practices that you share with each other. And also you are a better mentor when you're learning yourself. A good leader also has a growth mindset, which I have learned from them. A growth mindset means that you're always looking to improve. A fixed mindset is that, you feel like I'm the best. But I have a growth mindset, because that's what my leaders have taught me, that there's always something more to learn, and there's always, a scope for improvement. So when you work with that kind of mindset of continuous learning and a growth mindset, you're always able to, give more creative ideas. You're always like on your toes, that, okay, let's see how we can do this better. And you're more organized. Passion and enthusiasm. Good leaders have passion and enthusiasm. It's just inbuilt. Nobody tells them that, okay, you have to be passionate about your job. They are passionate and enthusiastic. And then the team members also feel that, wow, they're really working hard. Why don't we also contribute and, achieve great things together? So they're very motivational for their teams. Good leaders also have superior problem solving skills. You might think, what is a superior problem solving skills? Like an average person, when they see a problem, either they run away or they're more like, I don't want to get involved. But then that will not make you a leader. Like if a leader has an issue within their team, let's say two team members can't get along, they are not going to create a bigger rift and play divide and rule. They don't do that. They want them to work together they want their entire team to work together. So before the issue escalates, they try and solve it, or they try and make the two team members discuss their problems, and then they give them the best solutions. So they never create problems for team members. They always solve it before it escalates. And sometimes there are problem solving skills required. Let's say a client is shouting at you for whatever reason. Now a good leader will be patient and would they're trained on how to handle problems, if how to handle that person first, their emotion first, through emotional intelligence, and then give them a solution so that they can give a second chance to the company. So these are very, it may sound very simple, okay, superior problem solving skills, but they're actually trained on it. Months of hard work and situations go into learning this skill. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly recap all the qualities, so that if you are a leader, please learn these qualities, and through experience, through trainings within your company. And if you are somebody who's looking for a mentor, please go for a leader who has these qualities. I would also like to say that if you want me to conduct leadership trainings on any of these skills and how to train people on these skills, then please reach out to me at neetu.communicationskills@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a mentor who wants you to, if you want to feel more confident and have a higher self-esteem, and you're looking for trainings for that, then also as an individual you can reach out to me at neetu.communicationskills@gmail.com. Just make sure you're a genuine person, you respect my time, and I respect yours. We can have a discussion first, and we'll figure out what kind of trainings to actually conduct for you or your organization. So quickly, integrity and ethics, vision and strategic thinking, accountability and responsibility, empathy and emotional intelligence, communication skills, effective listening, adaptability and flexibility, courage and resilience, delegation and empowerment of team members, continuous learning and a growth mindset, passion and enthusiasm, superior problem solving skills. So these are just very, they might sound very easy, but these are qualities that we should all have if we want to be leaders, or if we want to handle our business effectively, or anything that we are doing. Even if we're selling a product and we have a company, if we showcase these skills to our employees, they will work better, and our customers will eventually be happier. So on this note, you guys take care. Bye bye.